Why should we work so hard? Why take so many classes, read so many books, or push ourselves beyond comfort? A good question, why? The best answer to why, I think, is the second question, why not? Why not see how much you can learn, how many skills you can master, and how valuable you can become to your career, your family, and yourself? Why not test your limits, see how far you can go, how much you can achieve? That is the legacy we all share, especially in America, to see what we can create from the opportunities before us, making the most of this extraordinary life we've been given. There will be days when you feel like giving up, but ask yourself, why did you start? Was it for your family? Was it to change your life? Was it to prove to yourself that you could? When your why is clear, you'll always find a way. Life will give you pain either way, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. But here's the difference. Discipline weighs ounces, regret weighs tons. Your why determines which one you'll carry. Some people work to survive, others work to make a difference. Who do you think gets further in life? If you're just working for a paycheck, you'll never build wealth. If you're working for a mission, you'll change the world. People ask, how do I become successful? But the how doesn't matter until you know why. When the why is strong enough, the how becomes obvious. Clarity creates power. When you know why you're doing something, every decision becomes easier, every action more purposeful. Without a clear why, life becomes a series of random events, dictated by circumstances rather than direction. I once met a man who told me he wanted to be wealthy. I asked him why. He hesitated. Well, because I want a better life, he said. A better life how? I pressed. What does that mean? More money? A bigger house? What is it that you really want? He had no clear answer. And because he had no clear answer, he had no clear plan. And because he had no clear plan, he had no consistent action. That's how most people live, vague wishes with no foundation. But I've also met another man who said, I want to be wealthy because I never want my children to experience the struggles I had growing up. I want to give them opportunities I never had. Now that's a why. That kind of clarity creates movement. Your why must be bigger than your excuses. Because let's be honest, excuses are easy. It's too hard. I'm too tired. I don't have the resources. But when your why is strong enough, those excuses start to dissolve. When the alarm goes off at 5 a.m., the person without a why will hit snooze. But the person who has a reason, the person who's fighting for their family, for their freedom, for their future, jumps out of bed. Think about the people who have achieved great things. Did they have struggles? Of course. Did they have excuses available? Absolutely. But they had a why that was stronger. I once spoke with a businessman who built $1 million empire after being broke and sleeping in his car. He told me I had two choices, believe my excuses or believe in my why. And my why was simple. I was never going to live like that again. That's the power of purpose. It makes difficulties temporary. People with a strong why outlast challenges. When the going gets tough, most people quit. They say it's too hard and they give up. But the ones who push through, the ones who break through the barriers, those are the ones who break through the barriers. Those are the ones with a why so powerful that no setback can break them. A farmer doesn't stop plowing the field just because the sun is hot. A mother doesn't stop caring for her child just because she's tired. A father doesn't quit providing for his family just because he had a tough day. Why? Because their reason is greater than their struggle. And when your reason is strong enough, you don't quit either. I remember a young man who came to me and said, I don't know how to get ahead. I feel stuck. I asked him, why do you want to get ahead? He gave me a vague answer, something about wanting more money. That's not a why. That's a wish. I told him, go figure out what you really want. Come back when you have a reason strong enough to shake you to your core. He returned later with a different energy. He said, I've decided. I want to succeed because I never want my mother to work another day in her life. Now, that's a why. And guess what? The how followed. He found ways to earn. He took action. He stayed committed because his why was stronger than any excuse. Without purpose, you drift. Drifting from job to job, from opportunity to opportunity, never making real progress. Drifting is what happens when people don't know where they're going. But with purpose, you drive. When you have a clear destination, you don't waste time in circles. The wind may blow, distractions may come, but you stay on course. It's like a ship at sea. Without a captain, it drifts aimlessly, carried by the waves. But when there's a captain with a map, the ship moves forward no matter the storm. I once met a man in his 50s who told me he had spent his whole life wandering. He had tried different jobs, different businesses, different investments. Nothing ever stuck. He said, "I don't know why I never found success." I asked, "What was your goal?" He shrugged. "I don't know, just to make money, I guess." That's the problem. Money is not a goal, it's a result. And results only come when the purpose behind them is strong. Success is impossible without a strong why. The people who build wealth, the ones who stay healthy, the ones who create happiness, they aren't just lucky. They have a powerful reason that keeps them going. Look at the greats, the self-made millionaires, the champions in any field. Do you think they never faced failure? Of course they did, but their why was bigger than their setbacks. I knew a businessman who lost everything. The economy turned, his business collapsed, and he was left with nothing. Many would have given up, but he didn't. Why? Because his why wasn't about money. It was about proving to himself and his family that he could rise again. He got up, learned new skills, started fresh, and built back stronger. He told me, "The failure hurt, but quitting was never an option. My why wouldn't let me stop." I remember a young man who came to me years ago and said, "I want to change my life, but I keep procrastinating." I asked him, "Why do you want to change?" He hesitated. He thought about it, and that was the problem. His why wasn't strong enough yet. I told him, "Find a reason that will pull you so hard that hesitation isn't even an option." A year later, he came back transformed. He had started a business, improved his health, and taken control of his life. He said, "I found my why. My family was struggling, and I decided I would be the one to change that forever." The moment his why became real to him, the action followed naturally. That's the power of an emotional why. Logic can make plans, but emotion makes decisions. If you rely only on logic, you'll always find a reason to delay, to wait, to play it safe. But when emotion is involved, you move. Why do people suddenly change when they have a child? Because now they have a reason beyond themselves. Why does an entrepreneur fight through setbacks? Because he sees the future he's building for his family. Logic says, wait until you have more experience. Emotion says, start now because your time is running out. I met a man who spent years dabbling in business, never committing fully. Then one day, his father passed away, leaving behind a dream unfulfilled. It shook him. He told me, "I realized I was wasting time. My father never got to see his dreams come true, and I don't want to make that mistake." That day he changed. He got serious. He built something lasting because now his why had emotional weight. But here's the key. Your why must be personal, not borrowed. You can't live someone else's dream and expect to feel fulfilled. Too many people chase goals society gives them, make a certain amount of money, get a particular job, buy a bigger house, without asking themselves if that's what they truly want. Borrowed goals lead to empty victories. I once met a man who was making a lot of money, but he was miserable. I asked him why he was in his business, and he said, "Because my father wanted me to do this." That's not a real why. And because it wasn't his own, he had no fire, no drive, no joy in the process. Eventually, he walked away and started something that mattered to him. And guess what? His energy changed. His results changed because now he was fueled by a purpose that was his. Fear is a powerful force. It stops people from taking risks, from stepping forward, from pursuing their dreams. But there's something even more powerful than fear, a strong why. When the reason behind your actions is strong enough, fear loses its grip. People hesitate because they focus too much on what might go wrong. But when your why is clear, your focus shifts to what must go right. The stronger your why, the less you'll fear failure. I remember a man who wanted to start a business, but every time he thought about it, fear crept in. What if I fail? What if I lose money? What if people laugh at me? These questions paralyzed him. Then one day he shifted his thinking. He stopped asking, what if I fail? And started asking, what if I never try? What if my family stays stuck in the same struggles? What if I look back with regret? That changed everything. His why became bigger than his fear. And the moment that happened, he stopped hesitating and started building. That's the secret. Fear shrinks when your why expands. If your purpose is weak, the obstacles look too big. But if your why is strong, the obstacles seem small in comparison. Think of a parent who suddenly finds themselves in a life or death situation with their child. Fear doesn't stop them. They move because the reason is too powerful. If you want to overcome hesitation in your life, find a reason that is stronger than your fear. But be careful. Your why must be bigger than just money. If all you chase is wealth, you'll find yourself exhausted, uninspired, and empty. I've seen people make millions and still be miserable. Why? Because money alone is not enough to drive a person long term. Purpose, contribution, impact, these are what create lasting motivation. I once met a businessman who had all the wealth anyone could ask for, yet he was unfulfilled. He told me, I thought once I made this much money, I'd feel successful, but now I just feel stuck. The problem? His why had been the dollar amount, and once he hit it, there was nothing left to push him forward. Then he made a shift. He stopped chasing money and started using his wealth to help others. He began mentoring young entrepreneurs, giving back, building something beyond himself. And suddenly his energy changed. His excitement returned because now he had a reason beyond just financial gain. Money is important, no doubt. But if money is your only why, you will struggle to stay motivated. Find something greater, your family, your community, a legacy, a cause. The wealthiest people don't just chase dollars, they chase impact. Look at every great success story and you'll find one thing at the foundation, a powerful why. Study the wealthy and you'll see that their motivation was always bigger than themselves. Henry Ford wasn't just trying to make money, he wanted to revolutionize transportation. Andrew Carnegie didn't just build steel, he wanted to change industry and give away his fortune to libraries and education. Walt Disney wasn't just creating cartoons, he was bringing joy to millions. Their wealth was a byproduct of their purpose. That's what separates those who make it from those who struggle. Those who succeed are driven by something deep, something that keeps them moving forward when things get hard. Every person who built something great started with a reason that made the struggles worth it. The truth is, most people live their entire lives drifting. They go from job to job, idea to idea, always waiting for motivation, always waiting for something external to push them. But those who win, those who build wealth, those who live extraordinary lives, don't wait. They decide. They choose a purpose so strong that it pulls them forward, even on the hardest days. I remember a man who once told me, I want to be successful. I asked, why? He paused. Well, I guess I just don't want to struggle anymore. I said, that's not enough. Because listen, avoiding pain is not the same as pursuing greatness. The moment things get tough, a weak why crumbles under pressure. But a strong why, that gives you fire. That gives you the drive to stay up late, wake up early, push past rejection, keep going when everyone else would have quit. There's an old story about two bricklayers. Someone asked the first, what are you doing? He wiped the sweat from his forehead and said, laying bricks. Then they asked the second man the same question, and he stood tall and said, I'm building a cathedral. Both men were doing the same work, but one had a vision. One was driven by purpose, and purpose makes all the difference. So the question is, what are you building? Is it just another paycheck, just another year, just another task, or is it something greater? Because if you want a different life, you must have a different why. There's a reason why those who create wealth don't stop after they've made their first million. It's because their why is bigger than just numbers in a bank account. They're driven by contribution, by legacy, by impact. They don't stop growing. They don't stop learning. They don't stop giving because their purpose is greater than themselves. Thomas Edison tried 1,0,0,0,0 times before he invented the light bulb. Imagine if he had stopped at 9,999. Imagine if his why had been weak. He once said, many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up. The same is true for you. You might be one effort away, one decision away, one moment away from a breakthrough. I remember a time in my own life when I was broke, frustrated and unsure of the future. But I found a mentor who asked me the right questions. He asked, what do you want? Not just today, not just this year, but for your life. And when I gave him a surface level answer, he pushed me further. He made me think bigger. And that's when everything changed. So I ask you now, what do you want? And more importantly, why do you want it? Because if you can answer that, if you can find a reason that moves you, that excites you, that makes you jump out of bed in the morning, then nothing will be able to stop you. But if your why is weak, if your purpose is vague, if you haven't taken the time to define it, then the smallest obstacle will knock you down. So don't just wish for success. Decide on it. Choose it. Find a why so strong that it lights a fire in you. And once you find it, commit, take action, do the work. Because the truth is, life will test you. There will be days when you feel like giving up. There will be moments when nothing seems to be working. There will be times when the path ahead is unclear. But if your why is strong, you will find a way. Viktor Frankl, a man who survived the horrors of a concentration camp, once said, those who have a why to live can bear almost any how. If a man in the worst possible conditions can hold on to a purpose, then you and I have no excuse. If you have a why, you will find a way. If you don't, you'll find an excuse. So today is the day to make a decision. No more drifting, no more waiting, no more hoping that success will come by accident. Decide what you want. Decide why it matters, and then do whatever it takes to make it a reality. Because once you have a why, the how will take care of itself.